Alright, the semi-finals for the Eurovision Song Contest are here. We know who's competing, we know the running order, and it's time for us to predict some qualifiers. Hi there, my name is Scott. I am an Australasian Eurovision superfan, and here on ESC Canuck, today we're going to be taking a look at the first semi-final and figuring out who's going to qualify. Now, a couple of things about this process. I'm only going off what I've heard of these songs, and that is the versions that have been released on the official Eurovision YouTube channel, as well as any live national final performances, and importantly, also some performances that we've seen at things like the Nordic pre-party and Eurovision in concert that took place in Amsterdam quite recently. So, I don't have any special knowledge. I'm kind of just going by my gut, what I think will qualify, and as this is the first time I'm doing this, I'm almost certainly gonna be wrong, but that said, that's never stopped anyone on the internet before. Without further ado, let's take a look at the semi-final. This graphic was made by the Eurovision team for social media, and as you can tell, there are some automatic qualifiers in there, so we can take those away and then we're just left with the songs that are competing. Now there are 15 songs that will be competing for only 10 places, which means we've got to take 10 people we think are going to qualify and leave 5 people behind. Now the way I want to do this that's maybe different from some other Eurovision channels is that I'm going to kind of just sort of draft countries. I've thought about it, here's my metaphor. We are taking our shopping cart and we're going into the grocery store at Eurovision. And there are 15 different songs that we can buy, but we've only got enough money for 10. So we're gonna get our bread, our milk, and our eggs, and then we'll start talking about some of the tough decisions we have to make in order to get everything that we really want. Another note is that Israel is competing in this semi-final. I do think they'll qualify, but I'm not that interested in discussing them further. We're gonna move right forward, and we're gonna pick 9 of the remaining 14 songs. The first country we're going to put into our shopping cart is Finland. Of course it is. This is the favorite. This seems like Finland's year. It's just such a strong, well-rounded package. We've seen the staging. It's great. The song is really dramatic. It's got lots of levels. It's ticking a lot of boxes. There's drama, there's intrigue, there's an interesting thing for the ear to listen to. Finland, congratulations, you're making the shopping cart. The next country we're taking home with us is, of course, going to be Greece. Now, Achilles, I don't think there is any doubt, is kind of the cheeky boy of this year. He's got some attitude, but that's not unwholesome. He's not as transgressive as I feel like some people found Tommy Cash or Korea. He's doing a video game aesthetic from what we can tell so far, and I think that's going to go over really well with the young folks. I think the musical style he has is fantastic. There's some video game elements in the audio design. His energy is just like unmistakably fun. You want to have Achilles in a grand final. It doesn't work without him. The logic's just not there. So come on, get in here, Greece. You're going to the grand final. And rounding out our power trilogy is, of course, Sweden. For me, the biggest thing that I'm concerned about with Sweden is just, if I ask you how the chorus goes, I end up going like, ba 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 da ba 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 da ba 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 ba, and then that's, first of all, horrible. But second of all, it's nothing that Felicia is singing. It's just a trend I've noticed that if the main melody and the main hook isn't the vocal line, I feel like you lose a few people there. It's in the second spot in the running order. It's not a great running order. The later you perform in the semi, the better your chances are, but this just has so much wow factor. The laser show is so incredibly well designed, and if you've ever seen laser shows, most of the time they're just sort of glitching out and going everywhere, but there's a real narrative to the way that that light show works, with the movement, with Felicia's voice, with those lyrics that are, sure, a little bit silly, but still catchy and easy to get along with. It's just a powerhouse. It's not going to fail to qualify. Sweden, get in the bag. Those 3 are the 3 that I'm most confident about. Now, once we start going further down the list, I think there's a lot more unknowns, and it's worth saying this now. This is not going to be my final predictions video. I'm probably going to make one the week of the actual show once we've seen images and video of the rehearsal and of the staging, when we get a better sense of how the songs are going to be presented in the actual final show. That just means we're trusting my gut. So, my gut says Moldova. Moldova is just good vibes, a good time. If you've ever not had a good time, It's amazing how much you wish that you were having a good time. And you can gravitate towards these performances and these songs that just lift you up, that make you feel part of a community, that make you feel like they want you to have fun, they want you to have a good time, they want you to enjoy the moment as much as they're enjoying the moment. It's so catchy and it's so infectious. I really love the revamped version of this song. Satoshi is an excellent singer, as well as all of the other wordplay he does in this entire song. It's almost built out of different European cliches, which is just a chef's kiss, brilliant concept for a Eurovision song. The staging, I know, is going to be really high energy. Aliona Moon is there doing the backup vocals, and her vocal parts is like a thing I'm always looking forward to when I listen to this song. Moldova, you're a good time. You're opening the show. That means the producers of the show probably like the look of you, and so do I. Get in, we're going shopping. Okay, at this point, we've got 5 qualifiers. We need 5 more. Again, I'm not going to work from the bottom up. I'm working from my top down, and we'll just see who gets left at the end. So who do I want next? You know what? I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. Belgium. Since the last time I made a video, we've seen the first live performance of Belgium's song. It was on the Belgian version of The Voice. I actually think it was great, though apparently a lot of people didn't and were unafraid to make their opinions known on the internet. I just think that for the dark pop that's going this year, this has a lightness, it has an interesting beat, it's melodically interesting, and it's got that dance floor thing, like I feel myself wanting to move. There's a really interesting push and pull between the vocal lines and the bass. Always like good things that I can really latch onto. She's not the strongest dancer, and that's okay. It appears that if the staging is like what we saw at The Voice, she'll have some backup dancers doing a bunch of acrobatics to make her look a lot more comfortable with moving around on stage than maybe she possibly is. But I still think that when I look at the songs that are remaining, I want Belgium. So I'm gonna take Belgium to the grand final. At this point, we're gonna stick with our shopping cart metaphor, and we've got a lot of sugar and carbs in this trolley so far. We need to start thinking about our health here. We need to pick something that's gonna break up some of the joy, some of the dance beats, some of the crazy high energy. And because of that, I'm going to reach into the frozen food section and pull out Lithuania. Solo Quiero Más is really unlike any other song at the show this season. It's got an incredible visual look just from Lion's makeup, and it's like a more challenging song. It feels when you watch it that it's got more layers than maybe something that is really purpose-built to make you move. And because of that, because of its darker elements, because of its thoughtfulness in the staging and in the lyrics, I think that this is going to resonate with people enough to get it into the grand final, and with the juries as well. So Lithuania, get in the shopping cart, you're coming to the grand final. 3 more, gut check. What are we going with? It's Croatia. Coming in a line of these vocally interesting ensemble pieces, I think Croatia has the juice, though I'm maybe not as strong on it as I would like to be. Their movements are really interesting. You're gonna get the comparisons to Tautometis, but I think, again, the thing that sets this apart is this kind of dark, epic, almost operatic quality. And now that I say that, that is very similar to Lithuania. Maybe we're in danger of overdosing on the same thing here. I still think it's going to qualify. I still want to draft it into my grand final, but now I need to make a change. All right, let's think. I'll just cut to whatever I've decided. I'm going to make some decisions I didn't think I would be making, because I think in order to accurately reflect what is going to make the grand final, we need Serbia. This is a real eat your vegetables moment, because it is very dark. I think it's the darkest song that we have in this list. Again, that's not a bad thing. We've just picked so many dark songs. And by that, I don't mean like not fun. I just mean the aesthetic that's around them, maybe the minor key, maybe how heavy they feel. There's a lot of songs like that, not only in this semi, but in both semis. Like, there's a lot of that this year at Eurovision, and yet this is rock doing that. So if the mood of the world is dark, heavy, oppressive, you need the rock flavor of that. Like, if that's what people are resonating with, they'll resonate with it in this flavor, I think, really well. Like, I just don't see us completing this darker tone of 2026 Eurovision without having Serbia in the mix. There are 6 songs left. I can pick only one. And there is a song I want to pick, and then there is a song that, if I'm thinking about like actually creating a varied and interesting grand final, I would pick, and that's really throwing me through a loop. Of the 9 that we've drafted so far, let's just quickly go through them in the running order. Viva Moldova, upbeat, great vibes, good energy. My System, darker, heavier. Croatia, darker, heavier. Greece, not super dark, but definitely has an undercurrent of like materialism, wealth, want, having gone without, needing a thing. Finland, more angst than you can throw a bottle of Axe body spray at. Belgium, dark dance pop. Solo Quiero Más, dark existential pop. And then Serbia, Krajmane, the darkest of the dark. We've got 1 light song and 2 maybe neutral, and then the rest are really heavy. So my gut instinct says I want to draft something light, and when I look at what's left, there's only a couple of options. San Marino, which weirdly I want to pick to go in. Estonia, I think, has a real positive, upbeat lightness to it. Portugal has a real pastoral kind of beauty to it. Like a real different change of pace from everything else that's left. Georgia, more fun, but less meaningful. Poland, the only kind of artist that's doing much by way of rap. Poland is the best vocalist that I don't currently have in my list of people who are qualifying. I think she's incredible. And as I thought might happen, I have just backed myself into a corner here. My gut wants to pick Montenegro. They haven't qualified in 6 years. I think the song is pretty dang strong, but it's also quite dark. So when I look at all of this, honestly, the 2 that jump out to me are San Marino and Estonia for being light. I'm gonna say at this point, we're going Estonia. I wasn't expecting to do that when I started this video, and yet here we are. Here's why I think Estonia. Again, looking at that color palette we walked through of the songs that I'd already drafted that I think are stronger songs, I just think that people who are looking for brighter, more hopeful content this Eurovision are gonna find that in Estonia. They're also gonna find a flavor of rock that is more maybe mainstream and stadium ready than something like Serbia. And in that case, I actually think, sort of tonally to balance everything out, yeah, Estonia is what I want in my shopping cart when I'm taking some songs to the grand final. So send it. Okay, with that, we've got our 9 selections. I'm probably wrong. I am almost certainly wrong. Don't take advice from people on the internet. Not that you can really take advice from this. How do I feel about this list? I think it's as good as any other list you'll find. I'm taking a bit of a swig with Estonia though, I'll tell you that much. I think we're all gonna have a whole lot of fun as we get closer to the actual show, seeing the staging and then coming back and revising. I will use this as a basis for a much more stringent predictions video when we get closer to the actual show itself, but for now, I'm feeling pretty confident. I think, yeah, I can live with this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join the ESC Canuck family. Leave a comment. I do read every comment. It's really lovely to have people interacting with such a small and new channel. If you would send a different set of countries to the grand final, let me know which ones. I hope you'll join me very, very shortly for my video about semi-final 2. There's some great choreography even from the Amsterdam show that's worth checking out. Everyone say hi to co-host Jonas.